Hey everyone, this is going to be my review of All In, which just took place this past Saturday, September 1st from the Sears Center Arena in Chicago, Illinois. So before I jump into my review, I have to give praise and so much tribute to Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, for stepping out of the box and doing something that a lot of people are scared to do and just really don't have the funds to do, I guess you could say. For them to do such an event and to get so much hype around such an event other than WWE is phenomenal. It's huge. It is really earth-shattering in the pro wrestling landscape because many people cannot do what they did. You know, they promoted this amazing show and they self-funded it, which is insane. And they amassed 10,411 people in attendance. That is astronomical. Dave Meltzer, who you guys know I despise with a passion, said about a year ago that Cody and the Bucks could never sell out an arena 10,000 plus. 1 year later, look what they did. They did just that. They did that. So I have to commend them. It definitely was the biggest independent show I've ever seen, to be honest. I've never seen 10,000 plus in attendance for an independent show in my entire life. I think that this is huge. This is definitely changing the landscape of professional wrestling. It's going to show a lot of people that you don't have to be in that little bubble of WWE to make it. You can make it on the independent circuit, and Cody is definitely showing you that you can make it, and that is huge, and that is a testament to give people courage, to go forward with their dreams. A lot of people are never going to make it to WWE, and that's okay. You could still make a life outside of WWE, and this show is definitely proving that, and I just have to give them credit where credit is due. That is amazing, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you who attended the show and who also performed on this show. This is huge for professional wrestling, and I'm of the belief that if you love wrestling, you should support it. You should support it because at the end of the day, WWE isn't the end all be all anymore. There's other fish in the sea, there's other promotions in the sea. And I think it is very important to support pro wrestling in general instead of just focusing on one brand or one promotion. It is important to show love to professional wrestling. All In opens up with Cody and the Bucks coming out and just telling everybody thank you for attending the show, and they are so excited to get the show started. But the first little issue is that the audio was off. Now, I'm going to be very easy on them because this is their first show ever that they've done. There was definitely some kinks in there that they could have worked out before the show, but at the end of the day, I think as a whole, it was a success. I will touch into some negatives and also my positives at the end of the review. So the first match we have as the opener, Matt Cross, also known as Son of Havoc in Lucha Underground, versus a personal, I guess you could say, friend, someone who trained at my wrestling school. We have MJF, trained by my trainer, Kurt Hawkins, as well as Pat Buck. Hi, guys. So, it's hard to be unbiased here because I love MJF. I think he is so incredibly talented, not because I know him or because he's an alumni at my school, but I just think he's so good. He's 22 years old, and I just love his character, the better than you character. I know that's been done before. CM Punk did that in ROH in 2005, but I think it's a nice fresh twist on everything because his character is kind of just like the rich Long Island yuppie kid. So I don't know, I just think it's really funny and it's really, really good, especially for his age. Really, really great. It's funny because in the beginning of the match, we have MJF saying, "I don't have to flip to get over," and I popped for that. That was hilarious in my opinion. So Matt Cross is incredibly talented. If you guys don't know, he is a Tough Enough alumni as well as a big star on Lucha Underground. This match is really good. It definitely showcases Matt Cross's athleticism as well as MJF's kind of more technical style. MJF focuses on Matt Cross's left arm most of the match. And we kind of get to see a little bit of athleticism from MJF as well, kind of shocking people. If people don't really know who he is, it definitely opened up a lot of people's eyes just on MJF in general. I think he's very multifaceted, in my opinion. He could do many different things, and I think that's what makes a great wrestler. Ultimately, though, MJF does take the pinfall to Matt Cross. Matt Cross does win here, and it was a really fun little opener. I know a lot of people kind of overlooked this match. I actually thought it was pretty good. I could see why it was the opener. A lot of people said that it shouldn't have opened, but in my opinion, it was definitely a high energy match, and I think it definitely got the crowd amped up. So I was honestly okay with it opening the show. The next match, we see Stephen Amell versus Christopher Daniels. Now, this is where I'm kind of be a little critical of this match, because I know Stephen Amell isn't really a trained wrestler. Yes, he's done some training, but he's not a professional. And Christopher Daniels is nearly 50 years old. I think the biggest spot to make note of is Stephen Amell's flying elbow through the table, although not connecting with Daniels. Daniels moves out of the way. Christopher Daniels does win with his moonsault against Stephen Amell. This match definitely did not need to be on the card, in my opinion. I understand why both men were on the card, given Daniels' long laundry list of accomplishments in wrestling, and Stephen Amell is very close friends with Cody, and he's also famous, so I understand why. I definitely see that Daniels is definitely slowing down now. I know he's still on the road full time, but I don't know, it's just a match that I think could have been left off the card to give other matches a little bit more time, in my opinion, of course. If I had the choice, I would have scrapped this match. No offense to either man, I have respect for both. Up next, we have the four-corner women's survival match, which is Britt Baker versus Tessa Blanchard versus the hot mess Chelsea Green versus Madison Rayne. So I wrote a lot of notes for this, and I would just like to read them off to you guys. I said Tessa definitely established herself here as the powerhouse in the early portion of the match, which she absolutely did. Tessa looked fantastic here. She looked like a star, as well as Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green, coming off of the heels of her WWE tryout around 6 weeks ago, she looked like a bona fide star in that ring. Her unprettier is beautiful. She hits in a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous Canadian destroyer, and it was a thing of beauty. I put that thing over 1,000,001 times on Twitter. It was beautiful. Tessa Blanchard, to take nothing away from her, she hits a beautiful code breaker. She calls it the Magnum. And again, it was a gorgeous executed move. You know, both of those women are really amazing. I have to say, all these women kind of got their shine here. They got a little bit of spotlight. But for me, Tessa and Chelsea were definitely the standouts. Take nothing away from Britt Baker and Madison Rayne, but this match was all about Tessa and Chelsea, in my opinion. Tessa Blanchard ultimately gets the victory with the hammerlock DDT to Chelsea Green. Before that happens, there's echoes of loud chants saying, "This is awesome." And that just goes to show you how fun this match really was. Now, my little gripe about this match is that I understand it is very hard to book a fatal four-way, but at moments it just felt a little sloppy to me. Like I said, the main two of this match, in my opinion, were Tessa and Chelsea. The other two are very talented, take nothing away from them, but they just didn't shine as much as the other two women. And you know, I have respect for all four of these women, but it just seems like Tessa and Chelsea were the standouts. Chelsea's unprettier is gorgeous. I have to say, she does that so well. This match was a fun match. It definitely wasn't like the match of the year or anything, but it was definitely a good match for sure. Tessa is a star as well as Chelsea. I have mad respect for both women. I mean, I have mad respect for all four women, but those two are just someone to keep your eyes on, in my opinion. Up next for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, we have Nick Aldous versus Cody. So in my notes I have, Aldous takes control early on in the match. DDP and Sean Daivari were having a scuffle inside of the ring because DDP accompanied Cody and Sean Daivari and Samuel Shaw accompanied Nick Aldous to the ring. So we see a little scuffle happening between both men. My biggest gripe of this match is Cody is outside the ring. Nothing is wrong with his face. He literally goes underneath the announce table and does a botched blade job, and then he gets up and he's bleeding all over the place. Like, what? The camera, see, the thing is, I understand this is their first show, but they have to work on their camera angles, in my opinion. The camera work wasn't really amazing. It looked very amateur, very just fresh out of college. Yeah, so that was my biggest pet peeve, in the sense that the botched blade job kind of took away, in my opinion. It wasn't really good, but moving forward, I looked past it. This match was more driven on emotion rather than like in-ring ability. The match was okay. It wasn't like, oh my goodness. It wasn't like 5 stars or anything like that. 5 stars! No, it was more based on emotion, and Cody does ultimately get the victory here. I would like to say that Cody did make Nick Aldous look like a star. Aldous definitely, I would say, 18 minutes out of that match, took control of the entire match up until the last 3 minutes. So that goes to show you how much respect Cody has for Nick, and both men did put on a good match. It definitely wasn't my favorite match of the night, but like I said, I can overlook it because this match was driven more based on emotion and his family history with his father, Dusty Rhodes, with the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And just to see Cody win, I did cry at the end of the match when Cody was, you know, staring at the belt when they declare him the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion. It was a thing of beauty. It definitely reminded me of shades of Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 12, and Shawn Michaels is my favorite of all time, so I definitely resonated with that moment when Cody is looking at the belt and crying. That was definitely like Shawn Michaels in 1996, and it was just a thing of beauty, and I have so much respect for Cody. I've been a Cody fan my whole life, basically. Cody's amazing. I also quickly wanted to mention I was not necessarily a fan of the finish of that match either. Cody does win with a sunset flip. I mean, I guess it protects Aldous in a way, but I just feel like it should have been more of a better finish. I think he should have hit another crossroads on Nick Aldous to get the victory. Props to Nick Aldous for also kicking out of a crossroads. That's very impressive. Not many people are able to do that. So yes, congratulations, Cody. Up next is my personal match of the night, which a lot of people are not putting over, and I don't know why. We have the Chicago Street Fight, the bad boy Joey Janela with Penelope Ford versus Hangman Page. This match was incredible. Definitely hands down match of the night, in my opinion, of course. In my notes, I have the use of Janela and Paige using the literal Cracker Barrel, which sponsored All In, as a weapon in the street fight was hilarious to me. Insane burning hammer spot through the ladder Paige does to Janela. I just have to say, Janela took so many incredible, crazy, like Jeff Hardy-esque spots off of the ladder and through the tables like so many times throughout this match. I have to give credit where credit's due. Take nothing away from Paige. He's amazing. I honestly think that Joey Janela is definitely somebody to keep your eyes on. I really do. I think he's gonna go places in the next year. He's definitely getting some resurgence as of late because he's been on the indies for a long time. Now he's really starting to skyrocket. A lot of people have their eyes kind of centered on Janela. It was such a great match. Don't worry, I'm gonna put over Penelope in one moment. I'm just going through my notes. Penelope Ford, queen. Oh my goodness. Girl, I stand her immediately. When she did that stunner to Adam Page and then that flying crossbody on the outside of the ring, I was like, yes, yes. You know, I'm all about female empowerment. She is iconic, truly. I was so here for it. She is so epic. And that moment, I had to follow her on Instagram and Twitter. Wow, I stan a queen. I stan a legend. That's all I'm gonna say. Penelope, another one that people, you need to keep your eyes on her. She is somebody, a force to be reckoned with. Expect her to do huge things within the next year. calling it now. I think a biggest moment of the match is Paige delivering a running powerbomb to Janela off of the ramp onto a table. That was a 6 spot. I definitely give Janela credit for taking that bump. That looked like it truly, truly hurt. Adam Page does ultimately win with the rite of passage from the top of the ladder, putting Janela through another table. Like I said, Janela, he's the real MVP, taking all these crazy spots. So this match was insane. And then of course I have to discuss the controversial thing that happened after this. Not necessarily controversial in my opinion, but I'm gonna mention that after the match, we see 8 inflatable penis druids come out as a spoof on The Undertaker's entrance. It's of course Joey Ryan. Now, a lot of you guys were eating this up on social media, and I have to be honest with you, let's call a spade a spade. If this happened in WWE, everybody would be saying, that's childish, that's stupid, that's so dumb. But being that it happened at All In an event that Cody creatively chose to have that happen, everybody was eating it up. Everybody was saying how funny and how awesome it was. But was it though? Was it though? Take yourself and take your fandom out of the equation and really think about it. If had this happened in any other promotion, would you be saying it's funny? Would you be saying it's cool, awesome, you know, historic? No, you wouldn't. Let's be honest. So I definitely have to call people out on their bias here because, you know, if this happened in any other promotion, y'all would be dragging them through the mud for it. So I have to defend WWE in that regard because we all know you guys at home would be dragging WWE through the mud. Twitter would be going bonkers if this happened in WWE. Up next, for the ROH title, we have Jay Lethal, accompanied by Macho Man Randy Savage's brother, Lonnie Poffo, versus Flip Gordon. Flip did win the Over the Budget Battle Royal earlier on in the night on the pre-show to advance to face Jay Lethal. Flip Gordon is also accompanied by Brandy Rhodes. So Flip definitely showed his athleticism early on in this match, but ultimately it was a quick match, honestly. Jay Lethal does win with his lethal injection to Flip Gordon. Flip has a long way to go, but he's definitely pretty good. Jay Lethal is somebody I've always liked since early 2005 when he was in Ring of Honor. He was about 21 years old then when I was a big fan of ROH back then. You know, it was a good match, but it's definitely something that I'm overlooking. You know, it's something that's kind of not fresh in my memory, like the Chicago Street fight, Kenny Omega versus Pentagon, and Okada versus Marty Scurll. I think those were the 3 biggest matches, in my opinion, of the weekend. So getting into Kenny Omega versus Pentagon Jr., this match, of course, Kenny Omega never fails to amaze everybody. He's obviously so good. Kenny Omega does win here, but let's just get into the biggest news. So Chris Jericho attacks Kenny Omega wearing Pentagon Jr.'s outfit, attire, so to speak. And nobody knew who it was, but then he takes his mask off and it's Jericho. Now, Jericho, of course, did this to promote the Cruise of Jericho happening next month, which Kenny Omega will be a part of. So Chris Jericho, he's so smart. He's so dedicated to the sport, and I can't say enough good things about Jericho. I love Jericho to death. Kenny Omega versus Pentagon Jr. was definitely an amazing match. It's a match where I can't say enough good things about it. I think you just have to go back and watch it because it is so freaking good. Kenny Omega definitely was the right man to win, in my opinion, and he did win, so I was here for it. Up next, we have Marty Scurll versus Okada. This match, I think, was my second favorite match of the night. Marty is so good, as well as Okada. They have amazing chemistry. Marty is, oh my god, Marty is a star. Let's just say that. The villain, Marty Scurll, using his umbrella in the match, so good. Ultimately, Okada does win with 2 Rainmakers to Marty Scurll, but I have to give Scurll credit because he was definitely showing his resiliency and tenacity throughout this match, trying to hang in there with Okada, and he definitely did for 25 minutes, and I think that was very impressive for Marty. So I think Marty has huge things on the horizon in the next year. I think he's gonna be astronomically even bigger, if that's even possible. You know, there was a lot of like, this is awesome chants, fight forever chants throughout this match. This was, in my opinion, technically the best match of the night. So I would definitely recommend watching this match because it was truly amazing. Marty Scurll and Okada, amazing chemistry. Both men are so incredible. It was such a treat to watch that match. And for the finale, the main event, we have a 6-man tag. We have the Golden Elite, which is the Young Bucks, and Kota Ibushi versus Rey Mysterio and Phoenix and Bandito. So my biggest thing is the placement of the card. I wasn't really here for. I think that the NWA World Heavyweight title should have main evented. So due to time constraints, this match was very quick, but it was still a decent match. It was only 10 minutes. Ultimately, the Young Bucks do get the victory, as well as Kota. Rey Mysterio, he's incredible. They all looked really good in the ring. They all had really good chemistry, in my opinion. But like I said, it was a very quick match. So as I stated previously, I would like to give my pros and my cons on the All In pay-per-view, and then I will give my final thoughts. So starting off with the pros, great hot crowd, definitely helped out the entire event. The crowd was not dead asleep. They were totally here for it. Like, it was such a good crowd. Chicago is definitely a wrestling city, so I can definitely appreciate a good crowd. Secondly, just good overall wrestling. You had something in there for every kind of fan. You had the NJPW style. You had a little bit of Impact in there. You had a little bit of Lucha in there. You know, even Ring of Honor. You know, you had everything for everyone. So whatever kind of fan you are, whatever kind of style you like, there was definitely something in there for you. So I have to commend Cody for that, in the sense that he kind of catered to universally everyone. You know, whatever kind of fan you are, there was definitely something in there for you. Whether you only like women's wrestling, there was a solid women's match in there. Whether you only like lucha wrestling, there was a solid lucha match in there. So he definitely tried to go out of his way to cater to everyone so that you would get your money's worth if you were there live and spending your money on a good ticket. So kudos to the Bucks and Cody for that. Number 3, I think that we just have to give credit where credit is due. Just to shock the world, so to speak. You know, Cody and the Bucks did that. They did that, you know. They sold out an arena with little to no promotion via social media. You know, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You know, it goes to show you how impactful social media has become in the last 5 years. So I know Vince McMahon had to have been watching. You know, a lot of these people want to play it off like they're not talking about it. Let's be honest, this was the #1 trend on Twitter Saturday night. Everybody was talking about it. So the fact that they literally got so much hype behind this show was phenomenal. So it definitely delivered, in my opinion. Now, was it the greatest show of all time that people are proclaiming it to be? Absolutely not. To think that it was, you are delusional, to be honest. Now, of course, I'm gonna cut them some slack. Cody and the Bucks, first time promoters, this is their first time show. Now, jumping into the cons, well, there's some cons that I have to be upfront about. The production issues, you know, audio issues. In the beginning of the show, when Cody and the Bucks came out, the audio was janky. It was all messed up. You know, they did fix it throughout the show, but, you know, obviously there was some problems, you know. Of course, though, I have to give them a little slack. This isn't WWE, this isn't New Japan, this isn't Impact, this isn't Lucha, where they've done thousands upon thousands of shows, so they know production value like the back of their hand. They don't. They're brand new to this world, you know, like this is a whole different angle for them. So, of course, I'm gonna cut them some slack. I think that the botch blade job in Cody versus Nick Aldis, that just, I don't know, kind of annoyed me a lot. But of course, this is their first time, so I understand. But Cody winning kind of, I can overlook it. I think number 3 would have to be the length of time. Now, this is becoming very popular with all different promotions where they like to really extend the pay-per-view times. And I think it's too much to expect your audience to dedicate 5 full hours to the event. So the event was scheduled from 6 to 11, and a lot of people were annoyed because it kind of just went off air at 11. Now, the reason why it went off air at 11 is because they had that lease agreement where it was just 5 hours and then it cuts off. Kind of like WCW Halloween Havoc 1998 when it just cut off before Goldberg and DDP's match. Same situation. So when a broadcast is in agreement with a promoter, they have a 5-hour time slot. After that 11 o'clock ends and it's 11:01, boom, off the air. So that's why I know it sucked. And the main event kind of got gypped in my opinion, because the main event should not have been only 10 minutes. I was not loving that at all. Not here for that. I thought that the placement of the card I did not like. In my opinion, Cody versus Nick should have been last, especially because of Cody's moment. You know, paying homage to his father, winning the NWA World's Heavyweight title, crying, having his moment. That was the biggest moment of the night for me, and I'm assuming most of you guys watching it live. You know, Cody capturing that title, you know, for his father. I mean, how can you not love that moment? My final thoughts are, if they do an all-in-2, which I'm pretty sure they will, I just hope that they minimize the time instead of dragging it out for 5 hours. Do 2.5 to 3 hours like the NXT formula, because I think NXT is a brand that really seems to just get it. It clicks with them. 2.5 hours to 3 hours is more than enough. It gets the point across and we're not left kind of just sitting there, you know, like, it's great, you know. 5 hours, it's just too long, and a lot of these promotions are doing that. It's not just Cody. Of course, I'm gonna be a little bit easier on Cody and the Bucks because it is their first time doing this. This is their first rodeo behind the scenes, so to speak. So for first timers, I have to commend them. I think they did an amazing job. I'm going to grade this an 8 out of 10, a B+. So a very solid rating, and I cannot wait to see what comes from this. You know, hopefully this is just the first step in paving the way, opening the doors, shattering the glass ceiling, because I think that they are on a movement and they have all their eyes on them right now, because this is a huge moment in professional wrestling. You know, they are breaking down the barriers, they are breaking the walls and the doors and everything you can think of, because this is a huge moment for professional wrestling. This is monumental. And I just have to give credit to them because this is amazing. So any little cons or any little flaws I have to say, it kind of gets overshadowed because this is a huge moment. They took a huge risk and I ultimately think it paid off. Of course, you can say there were flaws and faults along the way during the show, but that's with any show. You know, WWE never puts on a flawless show, but we still watch, you know. This show was so good, especially as their first time, so I have to give them so much praise. So before I go, I want to know what you guys thought of the show. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it the best wrestling show of all time? In my opinion, of course, I don't think so. It was a solid show, but definitely not the best. I think that the die-hard indie fan base was kind of overhyping it and over-exaggerating in my opinion. However, still a very good show nonetheless. Definitely worth watching. My 3 favorite matches were, just a quick rundown, Adam Page versus Joey Janela. Second would be Okada versus Marty Scurll, and number 3 would be Pentagon Jr. versus Kenny Omega. Fourth, as a just wild card, I would put in the women's match. All 4 matches definitely go out of your way to watch because they're all worth watching in my opinion. So without further ado, if you guys like this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos coming soon, and do not forget to tap the notification bell right next to my subscription bar because you have to be alerted. Now, with the new YouTube algorithm, it is not showing every single content creator's upload. So please, it is imperative. If you want to continue watching my videos all the time, you have to be alerted by hitting the notification bell right next to the subscription bar. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back very soon for the Mae Young Classic 2 series coming this Thursday, September 6th. I love you guys so much. Bye.